Okay, I think we're live. Oh, goodness gracious. Hi, everybody. I am so sorry. I should have been on at 7, but I got my flu shot yesterday and I've been feeling terrible all day. So I laid down and took a nap, and then I woke up at like 7:30 and went, ah! So here I am. I'm so sorry. Okay, so we are going to do episode 9 of Stampin' Flip. The template can be found on my Crafty Kraken page. This is the template for this month. And I created this template with a particular card in mind. It's a real easy fun fold. So I'm going to show you how to do that and show you which pieces belong to that card. And you can make that fun fold with any paper and stamp set that you might have. Okay, so I think that's it. So let's just turn the camera down and get started, and we'll talk about that card and then how I used the other pieces. Okay. All right. So, I'm sorry. I didn't even introduce myself. Sorry. I am Michelle Solis from This Must Be Ink in Seekonk, Massachusetts, and I'm a independent Stampin' Up demonstrator for Stampin' Up. And yeah, so I do a monthly stamp and flip where we do a one sheet wonder with one 12 by 12 piece of paper. And we cut that in half to make 2 pieces of 6 by 12. And then we use one side to make a set of cards and then flip it over and use the other side to make another set of cards. So this time around, we're using the Wildly Flowering Designer Series paper, which is a retired paper. And it's the whole reason I came up with Stampin' Flip was to use up, see all that paper back there? Use up all my retired paper. So I know you guys have paper in your stash. Pull out a piece that kind of coordinates back and front, and we will get started. All right, now we can flip this around. Go over here. There we go. All right, so let's move the camera over here. All right, so here is our cutting template. And you can see we're going to cut this, the first cut. After you cut your piece in half, because you've got 12 by 12, you're going to cut it in half for 6 by 6. On that 6 by 12 piece, you're going to cut first right here at 4 inches across. Then you'll cut this strip up, and then you'll have a cut here, and you'll cut this strip up and this strip up. Okay, so that's the cutting dynamics for this template. We're going to make some different cards this time around. We're going to do this fun fold card. So this is my fun fold card in the first paper that I used, and it opens up like this. And you've got your little sentiment insert in the middle there. So that's the fun fold card. Very simple to create, and I will show you how to do that. And then the other, this is the B card. That was A. This is the B card. Is going to use these 2 pieces, 4 by 2 3/4 and 1 by 4. And I just stacked those pieces up here and did some twine. So that's the B card in the Moody Mauve, and this is it in the Wild Wheat. All right, and then our C card is going to use up these little 2 by 2 squares. So on this one, I just stacked those up, made a little grid here. Then I embossed that piece, gave it a little bit of texture with the damask embossing folder. So you can do that. You can stack them up one on top of each other. Or I made this one where you can put them side by side as little triangles across the front of the card. Hi, Deb. Thanks for finding me tonight. Okay, so I will show you how to do this as well. Okay, so that's your C card. All right, so let's get cutting the Designer Series paper first. All right, so we're going to cut it in half at 6 by 6 first and foremost, right down the middle. Put that one aside. All right, so we're going to then take your 6 by 12. We're going to make the first cut here at 4 inches. So we're going to turn it this way and cut it at 4 inches. And then I'm going to set this piece aside and we're going to cut this strip here. So you've got 2.5, 2.5, and then 1 inch. So you'll line this up at 2.5 and make that cut. Then again at 2.5. And that should leave you with this piece that is 1 inch. So we'll put those aside for the time being. Then you're going to cut this piece. We're going to make this cut here, which is again at 4 inches. But we're going to cut it this way. So we'll go down 4 inches here, go straight down, put that strip aside, and let's work on this one. So this one is going to be 5 1/4, which will leave you with a 2 3/4 piece. 5 1/4, and that's going to leave us this 2 3/4 piece. Okay, and then this last strip here is should be 2 inches. And you do want to double check that because sometimes your paper is not exactly 12 by 12. So that should be 2 inches, and then you're going to cut it into 2-inch squares, and you should get 4 of those. Okay, so you've got 4 little squares now, and that's going to be for your C card. Okay, so we're going to make the A card first. That's our fun fold, and that's going to use these two 2.5 pieces, 2.5 by 4. That's these 2 pieces, and it's going to use this big piece, which is the 5 1/4 by 4. So those 3 is what you need for the A card. And that has the fun fold base. So let me show you that. Okay. What do I do with it? Here it is. Got them all stacked up over here. Okay. So your card base is going to be 4 1/4 by 11. So it's half a sheet of 8.5 by 11. I'm going to cut it straight down. You'll get a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of paper. You're going to first score that in half at 5 1/2. So right in half. And then I'm going to cut off 2 3/4 inches. So I'm going to scooch this back and I'm going to go to 2 3/4. And then I'm going to cut. So I should have now a card base that has a long panel and a short panel. And we're going to burnish that fold. And essentially what we're going to do now is take this panel that you cut off and we're just going to turn it this way. And this is going to make that card. Okay, very simple. So you'll take your piece of paper. This one was the 5 1/4 by 4. And this piece is going to go inside here as your background. And this is where you have some decisions to make because you do have 2 sides of the paper. So you can flip this over if you'd like and use the opposite side. And then you can put this piece here, or you can make it the opposite side again. This is going to go here, and you can use this piece this way or like this. So these are your design this is where your personality comes in. How do you want it to look? So we can do it a number of different ways. On these two, you can see that I used the print for the whole card. This time, let's flip one of our pieces. So I think let's leave this one in like that, just so you can see it a little bit differently, and you can decide on your paper, whatever you guys choose, what you would like to show. So this one we're going to put in this way so some of our flowers show. And you're going to cover up some of this because you're going to have a sentiment piece in there. Okay, and then I'm going to give it some contrast here. Oh, maybe I'll put the flowers here. And then have this go this way. Oh yeah, let's do that. All right, so we'll do the flowers here, which will look nice because I think you'll see flower next to flower. Every card's a bit of an experiment, right? Unless you've made it before. Even if you have made it before, every time you use a different paper, it looks different. Okay, so to make this, I'm going to now adhere the designer series paper to my little piece before I adhere it to the front of the card. So I'm just going to try and center that as best I can. And then let me give you a little trick as to how to get this on here so that it's straight and we know where to put the glue. And this is going to need a little Post-it note. Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Cheryl. Oh, Kathy. Hi, Kathy. All right, so we are going to center this up. So we've got a border here and a border here that looks about the same. Then I'm going to lay this Post-it note down right across here. So I can, when I pick this up, I know that this area is where I want to put the glue. So I'm going to bring in my glue, get some on there. And then I can flip this back around. And I know pretty much where I want that panel to be going this way. Take off your Post-it note and then just make sure that it looks straight. There we go. So that's going to be our card that way. Now we've got to put our little sentiment insert in there. And this is going to be, I want to say 2 3/4 by 4. Yep, 2 3/4 by 4. So let me show you two different things. So you can put your sentiment piece in here this way, which is what I did with these two cards as well. Or you can put your sentiment piece in this way. And if you're going to do that, you're going to have to pare this down a little bit. So then this is going to be 2 1/2 by 3 3/3. No, I think it already is 3 3/4. Yes, 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. Sorry. Okay, if you want it to go over there, you have to pare it down a bit. I'm going to show you how to do it this way. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some glue on here. And then I'm just going to line this up under my panel. Oh, I just moved it and glue it down. Now with the liquid glue, you've got a second so you can rearrange it and you can glue this down. So this is now going to fold over your sentiment piece. And then you just need to decorate the top of it. I have chosen just, this is Mixed Labels dies. And I forgot my ink, 1 second. This is Misty Moonlight. So we'll grab some Misty Moonlight ink. And do you think I brought the sentiments? No. 1 second. Ah, I was using the Simply Said set. Grab a block. And we were doing, I think we did birthday wishes. I always need birthday cards. So that's a good choice of a sentiment. Always is birthday. Birthday and thanks. I think I make the most cards. So we'll ink this up with some Misty Moonlight and just stamp our birthday wishes. Okay, and then just get that onto the front. Of course, you can embellish it and make it as fancy as you'd like. I think, oh, I just smudged it. I think that, did I do a ribbon on both of these? I did. I did some twine on both of those. Let me see if I can get dimensionals on here without smudging it. Oh my gosh. No, I got a dimensional on the front now. I'm having a night. So I'm late for my stamp and flip. I don't know if you saw the beginning or if you tuned in a little bit after, but I had my flu shot yesterday and I feel terrible. So I laid down to take a nap and I didn't wake up until 7:30. I should have set an alarm. Sorry about that. So I was delayed tonight. Okay, so here's my birthday wishes. There we go. And then I think I did a little bit of twine. So let's grab some. This is just that linen twine. Make a little bow. I don't know what my husband's listening to in the next room, but everybody's cheering. Just a little distracting. All right, so we've got a little bow for here. And I've got a little tiny glue dot. Yes, I will be posting the directions, Kathy. And you can get the directions, of course, if you're on my email list. Those go out to my email subscribers as well. And there's my little bow. To join my email list, it's just, it's just on my website, which is thismustbeink.com. I don't know if you can see that little thing that just popped up on my screen. Okay, and we're going to use up some retired bling too. Get that. Maybe if I can get it out of the package. Oh, it's stuck in there. So rip it open. All right, this was the Tinsel Gems. They came in Misty Moonlight. So I've got some Misty Moonlight dots I can use. Do you guys save all your retired gems? I do, because you never know when you're going to go back and use a piece of paper that has that color in it again. So there we go. So that's our Fun Fold card, and that is card A that uses your A pieces. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do card B, which is this one. And that's going to use these B pieces here. So it's the 1 inch by 4 inch piece, and then the 2 3/4 by 4 inch piece. Okay, so that's this one and this one. And this one, because they were cut from 2 different orientations. This one was cut from this orientation, landscape, or landscape, and this one was portrait. You've got them going two different ways now. So if you have a print that has a really directional, print, they're going to be going two different directions. So you may want to flip one over so you get it to look like that. That's what I would suggest doing. Okay, unless it doesn't bother you, unless you don't mind the flowers going this way, which actually it's not too bad. But let's do it so it looks different than the ones that we've already done. All right, so this one, we're going to take the other half of that 4.5 by 11. So that'll be a tent card. And we're going to use it this way as a tent card. Okay, and we've got a mat for this. What is my mat? My mat should be 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Yep, that's what it is. Okay, just checking my directions here because I am bleary. All right, so 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And we're going to mount these two pieces, one like this and one like this. And I'm going to leave a space in between for my piece of twine. Okay. Oops. I'll go like this. And just eyeball it. And you just want to leave yourself just a little space there. Twine is pretty thin, so you don't need a big open space unless you're going to do ribbon. And then you might want to leave yourself a little bit larger space there. And I should have stamped my sentiment before I put this paper on here. So now we got to cross our fingers. Okay, so we're going to try stamping our sentiment right here and hope we don't smudge it. Where'd my sentiment go? And now I can't find my ink. Oh my goodness. Oh, here we go. Okay. I'm always amazed how I can lose things. I haven't moved a bit, but I can lose things right here as I'm sitting here. Cover it up with something else. All right, let's stamp this. Oops. That's better. Okay, don't touch it. My ink pad seems to be juicy, and if I touch it, I'm gonna smudge it. Don't touch it. All right, let me put the inside piece in while we're waiting for that to dry so that I can manhandle it. All right, so you'll have a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 that's going to go inside. And we will just center that. Okay. All right, so now this one, I want to put some twine here. So I'm going to use, again, the linen thread. It's not really twine, it's linen thread. So what I will do is measure. I never know how much I use. I just eyeball it. So let me show you how I do that. So I let a little bit hang off when I'm starting. I let a little bit hang off the edge here. And then I'm just going to wind it around once and twice. And then I come all the way to the other side and leave myself a little tail. Better to have too much than not enough, especially when you're making bows. Okay, so I'm just going to move that up to where I want it to go. I'm going to grab one of my little glue dots, possibly, if I can find them. Oh, here they are. They're almost invisible. Put that where I want my bow to go. And then I'm going to tighten this up. And get it directly over my glue dot and stick it down. And the glue dot acts as my other finger. You know, when you put your finger on a bow, that acts as my little finger there. So then we'll make this bow. And then we're just going to fix it to the length we want it to be. And then just cut off our little extra end. He's real twirly, this twine. Takes a little while for him to lay down. It looks like a little octopus. Okay, so there's my card front. And then I'm just going to adhere that to my card. And you could pop this up if you wanted. I'm just going to adhere it flat. There we go. And then again, we'll get some bling. Some misty moonlight. Oh my goodness. My bling doesn't want to cooperate. Now it's stuck. Nope, doesn't want to come. No, it just doesn't want to work. Okay, fine. We'll get a new one. There we go. Oh my goodness. Technical difficulties here. There we go. There we go. All right, so that's your second card or your B card. Set that one aside. I don't know what I did with the last one. Just did. Oh, it's over here. Okay, that was B. All right, so C card is going to use these 4 little squares that we've got, and those are 2 by 2. Okay, so we're going to have a card base. This one is a regular card base, 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 by 4. Oh my goodness, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And then we're going to have a mat on the front that is also 5 1/2, 5 1/4 by 4. Oh my goodness. Okay, your card is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Your mat is 5 1/4 by 4. There we go. Okay, so this one I did 2 different ways. We did, if we're doing it portrait, I did it this way where the squares lined up on one on top of the other. Show you that. So what I just did was position these as best I could. Oh, they're going to make a liar out of me. All right, wait a minute. Did I use a bigger mat? I might have. Let me get my ruler. I might have used, yep, this is 4 1/8. So it just gave me an extra 1/8 across. The length is the same, but I did give myself 4 1/8 across so that I had enough room to go side by side here, this way. And then I embossed it with the pieces on. Embossed the whole piece. Well, you want to stamp your sentiment if you're going to stamp it here. Then emboss it. And that became this card front. And I just put a little bit of ribbon on there. But then tonight I was going to do this one so you can see the how to do the squares. So your mat on this one is 5 1/4. So your squares have to be about 5 inches across in order to fit on the middle of your card. So what I did was used my grid paper to line them up. Okay, so you've got, each one of these has 2 sides. So you're going to start by overlapping. So we're going to go with the floral one. And I used my grid paper, so you can see the lines in your grid paper. And I got them so that this tip is on the line here, and this tip is on the same line up here. And then I layered the next one. Same thing, tip to tip, make sure that you're straight. And then I layered another, leaving the same space in between and lining all of them up on the same line. So like that. And then you're going to want to measure it and make sure that it's going to fit on your card. So this is 4 1/2. This is very compact. So we could move it out a little bit. Let's go one more little line on my grid paper. Let's see how that works. And we've got 1, 2, 3 lines in between. 1, 2, 3. So here. All right, so again, you just want to make sure that you're lining up right to the line at the bottom and the, well, you might not be able to line up both the bottom and the top, but at least the bottom. I'm moving it. Hang on. Oh my gosh, it's supposed to look easy. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, and let's measure that. Ugh. All right, you get the picture. My hands are too jittery tonight. All right, so that's going to be 5 inches. So let me just make sure it's straight. And yeah, I'm having a hard time keeping my hands from shaking tonight because I'm not feeling the best. So we're going to just do the best we can. It's not perfect. All right, so get it lined up the way that you want. Make sure that it's within 5 inches so it'll fit on your card. And this is what I do. Great Scotch tape. This is one of those tools that everyone should have in their craft room. And I'm going to just tape those down. Oh, I moved. Tape those down so they're all together. Then you're going to flip them over. Because they have 2 sides, they're going to be the same on the other side, right? Your patterns are going to be alternating. So then you've got this piece that you can put onto your card front, like that. Okay? All right, so then all I did was flip this over gingerly, and I added some glue. On all pieces. And glued it down. You can use your grid paper again to make sure you're getting it straight. Just like that. Okay, you will have some play here because these don't have any glue. So you want to go back and just lift these up and just get a little dot, maybe, of glue. There. I can't lift this one up. There we go. All right, so a little dot of glue underneath each one of those panels, and that should be secure. And then we're just going to add our sentiment label and our insert. So let's get our insert inside the card. I go this way. Okay, and then we'll add this to the front of the card. Okay, and then we're just going to add our sentiment. So on this one, you can see I used this little banner. This is using this triple banner punch from, this is a new online exclusive that's coming. So it will punch 3 banners at a time. So let me just tell you that when you try to punch 3 banners at a time, it's very stiff. You really have to press it hard to get all 3. Oh, something on the back of that paper. To get all 3 at the same time. But also, if you use a strip, a small strip, you can just do whichever one at a time you'd like. So that banner, I was using just this middle piece for that one. I love this punch, and I will probably just keep it forever because it's like the perfect punch to make quick and easy labels. All right, so we're going to do a thank you here for this last one. Let's do, well, let me see if thanks will fit on there. Here's thanks. Will he fit on there? Oh, I think so. Let's try it. I had done just the thank you last time. Let's try thanks. Okay, there we go. And we'll just get some dimensionals for that. A regular dimensional or large dimensional does fit on here. Can't get the backing paper off. There we go. And then I just centered that on this last diamond right there. And I think I did a bow. I did a bow on there as well. So let's just do another little twine or thread bow here. See if we can straighten that out a bit. One more little bow. And one more little glue dot. This is crooked. I'll just put this right over here. And my little bow. And some little bling. Let's use some different bling. I also have these retired cork pieces. Oh, they're not the right color. Nope. Going back to Misty Moonlight. Okay. We'll fight with these a few more times here. Let's put one up here. Down here this time. There. Okay. So that's your 3 cards. Let's see again. This is with your A pieces, your little fun fold that you're going to do, your B pieces, and then your C pieces. Okay. So I hope you guys grab a piece of paper, new or old, and try this out. You'll get 6 cards. So you're going to get 3 when you use the first side of the paper, and then you're going to flip your paper over and you're going to cut it, and you'll get 3 from the other side. So you'll get 6 cards from one 12 by 12 piece of paper. All right. So I hope you guys grab some paper and try it. Let's get out of here if I can remember how. No, I can't. They change it. Every time I update my computer, this thing changes, and I'm like, I don't know which button I'm supposed to be pushing anymore. Okay, there we go. All right. You know, technology is hard enough to begin with, and then every time it changes, I have to learn it over again. I don't understand why they can't just leave well enough alone. Okay, anyway. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Yes, so please sign up for my email. That is thismustbeinc.com. Just go right there, sign up for my email. I will be sending the directions out in the email. The templates, both the cutting directions and the cards with the measurements for all the cardstock and designer series paper is on my Crafty Kraken Create page. So if you go to that page up at the top there, you'll see files, and you can find all my Stampin' Flip episodes right there. So you can download those and print them, or just keep them on your computer and look at them. But all the cutting directions and measurements for the cards are there. And then to actually watch me put them together, you can go to YouTube and find this video from tonight, but I will also have written directions in an email. Okay. Oh, hi, Julie. Thanks for joining. And Bobby. Hi, Bobby. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching tonight, guys. Sorry that I was late and not feeling the best, but que sera, sera. Okay. I'll see you all on Friday for my Stampin' Sip, hopefully. Everybody have a good rest of your night. Stay crafty, my friends.